The air in Willow Creek Estates felt artificially still that Saturday morning, the silence broken only by the chirping of sprinklers and the gentle hiss of coffee brewing in Sasha Sterling's kitchen. Sasha, the recently promoted chief of staff for the state attorney general's office, cherished these quiet moments. She set her mug down, glancing at the half-finished crossword. Then, the knocks came, 3 stiff, deliberate raps on the front door of her impeccably kept, white-trimmed house. Sasha paused, her experience in high-stakes negotiations and political security kicking in. The knocks had an uncomfortable weight. She looked through the peephole and froze. 2 men stood on her porch, both white, wearing what appeared to be navy blue state enforcement uniforms. The taller one held a clipboard. The shorter man's hand rested on a holstered, though suspiciously clean, pistol. "Miss Sterling," the tall one called, his voice flat and rehearsed. "We have a warrant for your arrest." Years in law enforcement had taught Sasha that true authority never felt the need to audition. She cracked the door open just enough to see their faces. "Can I see your IDs?" she asked calmly. "We'll explain everything once you're in custody, ma'am." "It's about a city ordinance violation," the taller man replied. "A city ordinance violation for what?" Sasha had dealt with only one conflict recently, the homeowners association, specifically the constant barrage of notices about her mailboxes approved, but apparently too bright, shade of crimson. She tilted her head, studying their patches. They read, State Compliance Unit, a name utterly foreign in her 20 years working with every major department in the capital. The badge numbers looked perfectly symmetrical, ending in clean zeros, an amateur's mistake. "Give me 1 second, she said evenly, and closed the door. Inside, her heart rate was steady. She didn't rush. She pulled out her private cell, tapping a secured contact labeled AG Priority. "This is Sterling. I have 2 males claiming to be state compliance at my residence. Check for any warrants under my name. Send units. No sirens, no lights. Priority 1. She walked back and opened the door wider. "Gentlemen," Sasha said, a faint smile touching her lips. "I asked for identification." The taller man flashed a cheap-looking ID too quickly to read. "We are the State Compliance Unit. What's the problem?" "The problem," Sasha replied, "is that the State Compliance Unit was disbanded 18 months ago, and your badges are clearly props." "Ma'am, are you resisting?" the shorter man demanded, stepping forward. Just then, the faint rumble of powerful engines echoed down Maplewood Lane. 3 unmarked, charcoal gray SUVs rolled in with silent, professional precision. They stopped behind her black sedan. Real officers, uniformed, focused, and armed, stepped out. Within seconds, both imposters were on their knees, their fake badges glinting uselessly on Sasha's brick walkway. Sasha watched the takedown from her porch. "You came to arrest me," she said softly to the taller man, her tone carrying the unmistakable weight of power. "But you didn't even check who I was." The conflict had been brewing for months, ever since the new Home Owners Association president, a retired engineer named Dale Peterson, moved in. Dale, a white man with a penchant for clipboards and enforced uniformity, had targeted Sasha from the start. Sasha, a brilliant black professional, represented a kind of success and quiet authority Dale seemed unable to tolerate. It began with the mailbox. Sasha had it painted crimson glory, a rich, deep red, after getting approval from the Homeowners Association's Architectural Review Board, ARV. A week later, she received a notice, mailbox color too aggressive. Correction required. Then, a fine for her perfectly legal black sedan being too imposing in the driveway. When Sasha went to the Homeowners Association office, Dale was there, typing furiously. "Mr. Peterson, I followed the ARV approval on the color," Sasha stated. "Well, Miss Sterling, several residents feel the overall appearance doesn't align with the community's image," Dale said, his expression tight. "The community's image?" Sasha raised an eyebrow. "Or your personal feeling that a black woman's approved, bright mailbox needs to be toned down?" Dale's face flushed. "We treat everyone the same. Don't think your title makes you exempt from the rules." "I don't," Sasha replied. "But I do think people like you mistake peace for arrogance." She left, but the interaction fueled Dale's resentment. A week later, Dale called an emergency Home Owners Association meeting. He presented a slide showing a zoomed-in photo of Sasha's mailbox. "We can't have people bending the rules whenever it suits them," he declared to the room. Sasha, sitting calmly in the back, stood up. "I'm not bending any rules. I'm following them. If you're issuing a citation, I require documentation, the names of the board members who voted, the relevant code, and evidence of a violation." She paused, her gaze fixed on Dale. "You can't enforce rules you can't prove." As she turned to leave, Dale muttered just loud enough for the room to hear. Some people think the homeowners association is above the law. Sasha stopped, turning back. No, Mr. Peterson, she said quietly. I just don't think the homeowners association is above the law. The humiliation was too much for Dale. He felt Sasha had stripped him of his power in front of his neighbors. That evening, he made 2 calls. One to Vic, a former, unsavory associate from his old engineering firm who now ran a private security gig. The other to Vic's partner, a man named Jesse, who had old, realistic-looking uniforms and fake credentials from a failed enforcement startup. The meeting took place in a shadowy, neon-lit diner. Dale laid out the plan. I want to send a message. He's been uncooperative. I want him to think a real department has issued a real arrest warrant for his code violations. Something official-looking. Scare him straight. He paid them cash up front. The twist. Vic, the former associate, had recognized the address. He'd done a background check before agreeing to the job. He knew Sasha wasn't just a chief of staff. She was notorious for being the most highly organized and politically connected person in the state capital. He knew they were walking into a disaster, but the cash was too tempting, and he figured the worst that could happen was being yelled at. The moment the charcoal SU Versus arrived, the operation dissolved. Sasha watched as her actual security detail cuffed the 2 men. Then, Dale's beige sedan came creeping down the street. He slowed to see the chaos, his eyes widening as he recognized Sasha standing beside the uniformed state officers. Sasha looked directly at him. The paperwork for this arrest came from someone in the homeowners association, she called out, her voice cutting through the morning silence. Would you happen to know who authorized that, Mr. Peterson? Dale froze, his face losing all color. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure the investigation will clear that up, Sasha finished, allowing the weight of her words and the sight of the arrested men to crush him. Within days, the story exploded. Homeowners Association president orchestrates fake arrest of black chief of staff became the headline on local and state news. Neighbors who had quietly supported Dale now scattered from his path. The doorbell footage of the entire encounter was given to investigators, showcasing Sasha's calm authority and Dale's pathetic scheme. Detective Miles, the lead investigator, called Sasha. The 2 men confessed. They were paid cash by Dale Peterson. He told them you were a problem neighbor who needed to be scared straight. Do you have enough to charge him? Sasha asked. Conspiracy, false impersonation of a public officer by proxy, harassment. It's a long list, Miles confirmed. Dale resigned immediately, issuing a weak, self-pitying apology that instantly backfired. He was now facing criminal charges, his reputation gone. Weeks later, Sasha was back in her garden, tending to her prize-winning black-eyed Susans. Dale walked past, head down, looking frail and defeated. Their eyes met. Sasha gave him a small, neutral nod, not of forgiveness, but of acknowledgement. The nod that said, you did this. Live with it. Her neighbor, Mrs. Kim, walked over. You handled that better than anyone I've ever seen, Sasha. Sasha smiled faintly. If I had lost my temper, I would have given him exactly what he wanted. Sometimes, the best victory is staying calm long enough for people to see who's really out of control. She looked at her mailbox, the crimson glory color bright and defiant against the white trim. She wasn't moving. She hadn't cleared her name. She had reminded an entire community what dignity looks like. Authority fades, she realized, but integrity, that lasts.